life for peace. It is the prelude. You believe you are prepared for the worst day of your life, do you not? You imagine the sudden cataclysmic event, the grand challenge that will define you. But you are mistaken. The worst day does not arrive unannounced, like a bolt from the blue. It is built, brick by brick, by the choices you make every single moment. And right now, many of you are building a monument to your own weakness. Look around you. Look at your own habits. You are constantly seeking comfort, endlessly pursuing the path of least resistance. You spend hours each day staring at a glowing rectangle, scrolling through the manufactured lives of others, seeking a fleeting hit of validation. A like, a share, a comment. Is this the measure of a man or woman? Is this the currency of greatness? No, it is the opium of the masses, dulling your senses, eroding your resolve, and convincing you that the fleeting approval of strangers matters more than your own iron will. You do this countless times a day. You wake up, you check the screen. You eat, you check the screen. You avoid the difficult conversation, preferring the shallow chatter of the digital world. This is not preparation, it is surrender. Your comfort zone is your danger zone. You say you are busy, yet you are distracted by every notification, every ephemeral piece of information. You delay the hard work, the difficult conversations, the necessary self-reflection. You procrastinate on the challenging project at work, opting instead for the easy, visible tasks. You put off that uncomfortable but crucial phone call to your family. You tell yourself you'll start that difficult physical regimen tomorrow, or next week, or next year. Each delay is a tiny retreat, a surrender to the immediate gratification that weakens your spirit. You are becoming a master of avoidance, not a master of your destiny. This is happening to you right now. The screen is your cage. Consider the man in his 20s, perpetually tethered to his phone, his self-worth dictated by the ephemeral judgments of unseen faces. He avoids genuine human connection, fearing the raw honesty of true interaction. He cannot sit in silence for 5 minutes without feeling an overwhelming urge to fill the void with digital noise. Or the woman who spends her evening consuming endless entertainment, avoiding the quiet contemplation of her life's direction, postponing the difficult decisions about her career or relationships. They are not preparing for anything. They are merely existing, adrift on a sea of manufactured distraction. Their mental muscle, the very sinew of resilience, is atrophying. Comfort today means regret tomorrow. When I was a young man embarking on my own journey, the world was a different place. There were no glowing screens to distract us from the brutal realities of life. I threw myself into the fray, into the crucible of war, into the relentless battle of politics. I faced down Boer Reppermen and Irish rebels. I learned that true strength is not found in the comfortable embrace of the familiar, but in the harrowing challenge of the unknown. I spent years in what they called my wilderness, a time of political isolation, ridiculed and dismissed. But during those years, I did not seek comfort. I sharpened my mind, I wrote, I read, I warned, I prepared. The man who seeks ease finds weakness. You must break this cycle. Stop seeking external validation. Stop allowing the digital world to dictate your peace of mind or your self-worth. Turn it off. Put it down. Start seeking discomfort. Initiate the difficult conversation. Tackle the most challenging task first. Embrace the silence. For every moment you spend escaping reality, you diminish your capacity to face it. For every time you choose ease, you forego an opportunity to build resilience. Your strength will not be forged in the soft glow of a screen. but in the harsh light of reality. Every day you wait, you get weaker. The consequence of this modern weakness is not merely stagnation, it is decay. You become the man who complains about his job for 20 years, but never acts. You become the woman who laments her unfulfilled dreams, but never takes the terrifying first step. You become an echo of potential, not a force of nature. This path leads to a future filled with knowing regret, a future where you are utterly unprepared when the true storm arrives. The man who seeks comfort is destined for a life of quiet desperation, utterly incapable of weathering the inevitable tempest. This is your immediate peril. There will come a day for you, just as there came for me, when the very foundations of your world will tremble, when everything you hold dear will be threatened, when the choice will be stark: stand and fight or fall and surrender. Will you be ready, or will you be another voice in the chorus of complaint, another soul adrift in the maelstrom, wishing you had built something stronger, something more resilient? Your moment will come. Many of you right now are living as shadows of your true selves. You are afraid to speak your mind, fearing the judgment of others. You are people pleasers bending to every whim, afraid to say no, afraid to set boundaries. You avoid confrontation even when your convictions demand it. You choose silence when truth is required. This may seem like civility, but it is a surrender of your essential self. You allow others to define your path, your worth, your very existence. You say yes to commitments that drain your energy and steal your time, because the alternative, the discomfort of saying no, seems too great. This is not leadership, it is civility. The future belongs to the prepared. Consider the man in his prime, with talent and ambition, yet he perpetually avoids the promotion that would demand greater responsibility, greater scrutiny, greater risk. He fears the burden of true leadership, preferring the safe, predictable routine, even if it means stifling his own growth. Or the woman who remains silent in meetings, despite possessing valuable insights, because she dreads the possibility of being challenged or misunderstood. She prefers to blend in, to remain invisible, rather than risking the discomfort of standing out. This timid approach to life ensures that when their true test arrives, they will be found wanting. Your greatest trial demands your greatest self. For years I stood alone. For years I warned of the impending catastrophe that was Adolf Hitler and the rising Nazi threat. They called me a warmonger. They called me an alarmist. They ridiculed my pleas for rearmament. My own party dismissed me. The public preferred the soothing lies of appeasement. But I did not falter. I did not seek their approval. I did not soften my message to suit their delicate sensibilities. I knew the truth, and I spoke it relentlessly. I prepared for a war that others desperately hoped would never come. When that war finally arrived, when the nation stood on the precipice of annihilation in May of 1940, my time had come. The nation, in its darkest hour, turned to the very man they had once dismissed. History favors the defiant. You must cultivate that same defiant spirit. Stop seeking consensus. Start trusting your own judgment, even when it is unpopular. Stand for something, or you will fall for anything. Practice the discomfort of speaking your truth, even when your voice trembles. Learn to say no, with conviction, to guard your time and energy as sacred resources. Understand that your worst day will not simply test your skills. It will test your character, your resolve, your very soul. You must choose to be the man or woman who, when the moment arrives, has already built the inner fortitude necessary to meet it. Only then can you truly lead truly impact, truly live. The consequence of avoiding this call to greatness is not merely a life unfulfilled, it is a life squandered. You will become a follower, not a leader. You will be swept along by currents you did not create, by decisions you did not make. When the real crisis hits, you will be a casualty of circumstances, not a master of your fate. You will be forever haunted by the shadow of the person you could have been, the leader you refused to become. Your inaction guarantees your irrelevance. Let us speak plainly about the true cost of the path you are on, many of you. It is not merely a lack of achievement. It is a profound, insidious erosion of your very being. Mediocrity is a slow death. It is the insidious rust that eats away at the steel of your character, leaving you brittle and hollow when strength is most required. It promises comfort but delivers only regret. You tolerate poor physical health, excusing your sedentary lifestyle with flimsy rationalizations. You allow your body to soften, your mind to dull, your energy to wane. You endlessly contemplate decisions, paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong choice, rather than acting decisively and adapting as you go. You become the man or woman who says, "I'll do it tomorrow," for years, until tomorrow becomes a distant memory. You become a repository of unfulfilled potential. What ifs? This chronic indecision, this physical and mental stagnation, is a direct result of choosing the easy path, of avoiding the brutal discipline required for true readiness. Your competitors are getting stronger while you seek comfort. Consider the individual who has dreamed of starting a business for years, yet remains shackled to a dissatisfying job because the risk of failure, the discomfort of the unknown, is too great. He spends his evenings fantasizing, but his days are spent in quiet desperation, watching others build the lives he only imagines. Or the person who allows a critical relationship to fester, avoiding the difficult conversations necessary for repair until the bond is irreparable. They are choosing the fleeting piece of inaction over the painful but necessary work of building true resilience. These small, daily surrenders accumulate until they form an insurmountable barrier to a life of impact. Inaction is your greatest enemy. Imagine, if you will, the cost if Britain had succumbed to the allure of appeasement in 1938 or the calls for negotiated peace in 1940. What if I had listened to those who urged surrender, who feared the immense cost of war, who believed that compromise was the only path? The price of that mediocrity would have been the enslavement of Europe, the obliteration of freedom, the subjugation of a nation. It would have been a legacy of shame and a future of darkness. The true cost of mediocrity is not merely what you fail to gain, but what you lose, your freedom, your purpose, your very soul. Regret is the heaviest burden. You must stop this relentless march towards mediocrity. Start by embracing discomfort immediately. Make a decision, any decision, and act on it. Do not wait for perfect clarity. That is a mirage. Do not seek effortless solutions. They do not exist. Begin a physical regimen that challenges you daily. Confront the difficult truth you have been avoiding. For every decision you make, every uncomfortable action you take, you are rebuilding the sinews of your strength. You are forging the resilience that will serve you on the worst day of your life. This decision defines your future. The consequence of embracing mediocrity is a life devoid of true purpose, a life lived on the sidelines, an existence defined by regret. You will become irrelevant, a footnote in your own story. You will be the one who whispers, "I wish I had," when others declare, "I did." When the true storm of life hits, as it inevitably will, You will be broken, not because the storm was too strong, but because you were too weak. Your preparation begins now, not when the first bullet flies, but in the quiet, challenging moments you choose to face today. There is no comfort in weakness. There is only the bitter taste of missed opportunity and the knowing pain of unlived potential. Choose wisely, for time, like the enemy, waits for no one. The storm demands more than mere good intentions. It demands principle. Many pursue fleeting trends, chase every new shiny object in self-help, hoping for a quick fix. They jump from one guru to another, one diet to another, one productivity hack to another, without ever rooting themselves in timeless truths. You do this with your career, constantly pivoting without mastery. You do this with your relationships, seeking validation from a new face rather than investing deeply in existing bonds. This superficial approach leaves you vulnerable, lacking the bedrock of character when the ground beneath you shakes. True strength is timeless. My methods were not new, fashionable theories. They were forged in the crucible of history, honed by relentless study and application. I devoured history, biography, and philosophy. I understood that the challenges of my time, though immense, were merely variations on ancient struggles. When others sought novel solutions, I turned to the lessons of Rome, of Greece, of England's own long, bloody history. I knew that courage, perseverance, and truth were not modern inventions, but eternal virtues. I relied on the wisdom of the ages, not the fads of the moment. You too must anchor yourself in ancient principles. Stop chasing the fleeting advice of today. Start studying the lives of truly great men and women, not merely the influencers of the moment. Read Plutarch, not just tweets. Understand that self-discipline, integrity, courage, and resilience are not buzzwords. They are the fundamental building blocks of a formidable character. Principle 1, relentless self-discipline. Your body is a temple, yes, but it is also a weapon. Discipline your diet. Discipline your exercise. Discipline your sleep. These are not optional luxuries. They are non-negotiable requirements for mental acuity and physical endurance. Your mind is a battlefield. Discipline is your weapon. Principle 2, unwavering integrity. Speak the truth even when it is uncomfortable. Keep your promises even when it is inconvenient. Your word is your bond. When your reputation is your only shield, its strength is paramount. Principle 3a, intellectual fortitude. Engage with challenging ideas, not just entertaining ones. Read difficult books. Seek out perspectives that challenge your own. Your mind, like a muscle, atrophies without resistance. Practical framework, the Stoic cold shower. Begin each day with a moment of discomfort, a cold shower. A difficult task tackled first. A challenging conversation initiated. This trains your mind to embrace the unpleasant, to find strength in resistance. It is a daily declaration of sovereignty over your weaker impulses. Embrace the discomfort. If you build your life on shifting sands, you will crumble when the winds blow. If you root yourself in these ancient, unshakable principles, you will stand firm. You will become the man or woman whose character is not swayed by public opinion or fleeting trends, but stands solid as an oak. This is not about being popular. It is about being unbreakable. Your foundation dictates your future. True strength is built on ancient rock, not modern sand. You cannot forge steel in a tepid bath. You must subject it to the furnace. Your greatest trials are not punishments, they are preparations. Many recoil from adversity. When faced with professional setbacks, they lash out, blame others, or retreat into self-pity. When relationships sour, they abandon them rather than confronting the difficult work of reconciliation. When physical pain strikes, they seek immediate relief rather than understanding its lessons or pushing through the discomfort to rebuild. You see this in the quick abandonment of projects, the fear of critical feedback, the avoidance of any situation where failure is a possibility. This aversion to the crucible ensures weakness. You avoid the fire. From my early days in the army, through my political wilderness, to the dark days of 1940, I faced relentless opposition, scathing criticism and crushing setbacks. They called me a failure, a warmonger, a drunkard. My campaigns failed. My policies were rejected. Nations fell under my watch. Yet I did not break. I did not despair for long. I understood that these tests were not meant to destroy me, but to reveal my true mettle. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Every blow was a lesson, every defeat a recalibration. I learned to face the brutal truth, to pivot, to fight harder. The fire refines you. Stop seeing setbacks as evidence of your weakness. Start seeing them as opportunities to temper your spirit. Mental framework, the no alternative. Mindset. When faced with an overwhelming challenge, refuse to entertain the possibility of surrender. When Paris fell, when the British Expeditionary Force was trapped at Dunkirk, when invasion seemed imminent, there were powerful voices advocating for negotiation with Hitler. My response was simple. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender. This was not blind optimism. It was a deliberate refusal to consider defeat, which then compelled the search for every possible path to victory. Apply this to your own life one. Embrace the truth of the situation. No matter how grim, do not sugarcoat your failures or diminish the scale of the challenge. See it clearly. 2. Eliminate the escape routes. Make it impossible for yourself to quit. Tell people your intentions. Burn the boats. 3. Focus relentlessly on the next action, not the outcome. When the task is overwhelming, break it into manageable units. What is the very next thing you must do? Do that and nothing else. You do not grow by avoiding hardship. You grow by mastering it. Your career stalls. Do not blame the economy. Improve your skills. Network relentlessly. Create new opportunities. Your relationship is failing. Do not seek greener pastures. Confront the difficult truths. Invest the effort. Demand better from yourself and your partner. Your body fails you. Do not wallow in self-pity. Meticulously analyze your habits. Consult experts and embark on the painstaking journey of recovery. The path to strength is paved with resistance. If you shrink from the crucible, you will forever remain soft, unproven, and ultimately unable to bear the weight of true responsibility. But if you embrace the fire, if you allow the intense heat of adversity to burn away your impurities, you will emerge stronger, more resilient, and utterly prepared for the next inevitable test. Your mettle is proven in fire. The greater the trial, the greater the man forged. Courage without discipline is merely recklessness. True strength is not a burst of heroic effort, but a relentless, daily application of rigorous self-control. Many yearn for greatness but despise the grind. They want the results without the repetitive, often mundane, effort. They dream of being lean but hate the gym. They aspire to wealth but avoid the rigorous work and financial discipline. They desire profound relationships but neglect the daily acts of consideration and communication. You often wait for inspiration, for a surge of motivation before you act. You skip the small, crucial tasks because they feel insignificant. You believe grand achievements are born from grand gestures, not from consistent, brutal effort. This chronic inconsistency, this disdain for the daily grind, is your greatest weakness. You want the crown, but not the burden. My life was a testament to daily discipline, not intermittent genius. Every day I wrote thousands upon thousands of words for books, speeches, articles. It was not always inspired, but it was done. I read. I debated. I exercised within the limitations of my health. Even during the war, amidst the bombing and the endless meetings, I adhered to routines. I knew when to sleep, when to eat, when to demand solitude for thought. My famous quote, never give in, never, 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 in nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in, was not a spontaneous outburst, but the summation of a lifetime of relentless daily discipline. It was the echo of a mind hardened by ceaseless application. Consistency is the silent weapon. Stop waiting for motivation. Start cultivating discipline, knowing that motivation often follows action, not the other way around. Daily practice want, the non-negotiable hour. Dedicate the first hour of your day, every single day, to your most important, most challenging task. No email, no social media, no distractions. This could be writing, working on your most critical business project, or intense physical training. This hour sets the tone for your entire day, guaranteeing progress on what truly matters. Regardless of how the rest of your day unfolds, you declare mastery over your time. Daily practice 2A, accountability log. Keep a simple log or journal. At the end of each day, note down 2 things. What I said I would do and what I actually did. Be brutally honest. This builds self-awareness and helps identify your patterns of procrastination and avoidance. It holds you to your word. Daily practice 3D. Confrontational conversation. Once a week, initiate a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. With a colleague, a family member, a friend. Practice speaking your truth, setting boundaries, resolving conflict. This is mental sparring, building your courage and communication skills for when the stakes are highest. Method for building discipline. Embrace discomfort as a signal. When you feel the urge to seek comfort, to procrastinate, to avoid the difficult, recognize that feeling as a signal. It means you are precisely at the point where growth occurs. Lean into it. Do the opposite of what your weaker self demands. When the crowd retreats, you hold the line. If you neglect daily discipline, you will be a man of great potential, but no tangible results. Your dreams will remain just that, dreams. When the worst day of your life arrives, your reservoir of strength will be empty, because you failed to fill it with daily, painstaking effort. But if you embrace the warrior's discipline, you will build an arsenal of habits, a fortress of resilience, and an unwavering will. You will be the man or woman who, when the moment of truth arrives, does not need to dig deep for strength, but simply deploys the power forged over years of relentless, silent work. Your daily habits define your destiny. Discipline is the bridge between aspiration and achievement. Do not mistake noise for power. In this modern age, many believe that constant chatter, relentless self-promotion, and the endless pursuit of public attention are the hallmarks of influence. They are mistaken. True dominance is not forged in the clamor of the crowd, but in the quiet, unwavering resolve of the individual. It is a presence that commands respect, not through shouts, but through an intrinsic, unshakable strength. This is how you will emerge. Look at the modern landscape. Every man and woman with a smartphone feels compelled to broadcast their every thought, their every meal, their every fleeting emotion. They live for the fleeting applause of strangers, meticulously curating an image designed for external validation. You see them. You are perhaps one of them, constantly seeking to be seen, to be heard, to be liked. They mistake popularity for power and a carefully constructed facade for authentic presence. They talk endlessly about their intentions, their plans, their aspirations, but their actions often betray their words. They posture loudly on social media, but crumble under real world pressure. They are performers, not leaders. Their relentless seeking of attention drains their true authority. Your presence speaks louder than your words. Consider the individual in a meeting, constantly interrupting, dominating the conversation, yet contributing little of substance. Or the one who endlessly boasts about past achievements, unable to sit quietly and simply deliver. They crave the spotlight, mistaking attention for influence. Or the person who, when faced with a challenge, immediately takes to public platforms to complain or seek sympathy rather than quietly strategizing a solution. They are loud, yes, but their noise reveals their insecurity, not their strength. True power whispers, it does not shout. During my own long career, I learned that true authority was not found in bombast alone, though I mastered rhetoric. It was forged in the quiet moments of conviction, in the unwavering gaze when others faltered. In 1940, when Britain stood alone against the Nazi war machine, there were many who spoke loudly of compromise, of surrender. Yet, my resolve was not conveyed by shouting, but by the very certainty in my voice, the clarity of my words, the absolute refusal to entertain defeat. I did not need to boast. The dire reality spoke for itself, and my response to it was unwavering. I allowed my actions and the unyielding truth I articulated to command. When others spoke of failure, I spoke of fight. When others saw an end, I saw a beginning. Command comes from character, not charisma. You must cultivate this silent dominance. Stop seeking constant external validation. Stop feeling the urge to fill every silence with your own voice. Start listening more than you speak. Start observing more than you perform. Your power is not in how much you can say, but in how much you can do and how much you can absorb. Actionable insight. 1. Master the art of strategic silence. In conversations, in meetings, in moments of tension, resist the urge to immediately respond. Listen intently. Absorb the information. Let others speak themselves out. Your measured response, when it comes, will carry far more weight than an impulsive reaction. It shows control, not fear. Actionable insight. 2. Develop an unflappable demeanor. When faced with criticism, with accusation, with pressure, maintain your composure. Do not flinch. Do not react defensively. Let your opponents expose their own agitation while you remain steadfast. This is not apathy. It is the quiet strength of one who knows their own conviction. Your calm is their chaos. Mental framework, the anchor of self-possession. Imagine yourself as a ship's anchor, heavy, immovable, providing stability in the storm. Your self-possession, your control over your emotions and reactions, is that anchor. When others are tossed by the waves of emotion, you remain steady. This is cultivated daily by pausing before you react, by breathing, by reminding yourself of your purpose and principles. Daily practice, the unannounced presence. Practice entering a room, a conversation or a situation with a quiet, deliberate presence. Do not rush to speak or make yourself noticed. Simply be present. Observe. Let your energy, your calm, your focus be felt before your words are spoken. This is about being, not doing. If you continue to chase the fleeting validation of the crowd, you will never earn true respect. Your voice will be lost in the cacophony, and your influence will be as ephemeral as the likes on a screen. You will be a performer, not a leader, And when the true test arrives, your audience will be gone, and you will be left with nothing but your own hollow echo. But if you cultivate silent dominance, you will become a magnet for respect, a beacon of strength, a voice that commands attention precisely because it is not always clamoring for it. You will be the one whose presence changes the atmosphere, whose words carry weight, whose actions inspire trust. This is the path to becoming truly formidable, to preparing for your worst day, not just through strength, but through an authority that is felt, not merely heard. Be the still point in the turning world. Authority is earned in the quiet, not proclaimed in the "Lo, worst day is coming." It will arrive not as a single, isolated event, but as the culmination of every choice you have made, every discipline you have embraced or abandoned, every challenge you have faced or fled. And when it comes, the question will not merely be how you survive it, but who you become in its aftermath. What will you leave behind? What will be the lasting mark of your passage? This is not just about you. It is about your legacy. Many of you live for the immediate, for the fleeting pleasure, for the transient accumulation of comforts and conveniences. You plan for the next weekend, the next vacation, the next promotion, but rarely for the decade ahead, much less for the impact you will leave long after you are gone. You optimize for instant gratification, for avoiding today's discomfort, without considering the long-term cost to your character, or your relationships, or your ultimate contribution. You chase ephemeral trends, you build flimsy foundations, and you neglect the patient, arduous work required to construct something of lasting value. Your focus is too narrow, too self-centered. You neglect the future, and the future will neglect you. Your legacy begins today. Consider the individual who spends years building wealth for wealth's sake, neglecting his family, his health, and his community, only to find himself alone and unfulfilled in old age. Or the person who constantly seeks the easy career path, the comfortable routine, never daring to take the risks that could lead to true innovation or profound impact, leaving behind no significant contribution. Or the one who avoids all difficult conversations in relationships, living a life of superficial harmony, but leaving a trail of unresolved conflict and fractured bonds. They are living for the now, but they are mortgaging their future impact, trading potential for temporary peace. A life unexamined is a life unlived. Throughout my life, especially during the darkest hours of the Second World War, my vision extended far beyond the immediate battle. When London was burning, when the invasion was imminent, I was not merely fighting to survive. I was fighting for the very soul of Britain, for the principles of freedom and democracy that would define the future of the world. I spoke not only of victory, but of a lasting peace, of a new world order, of the responsibility of future generations. My decisions were weighed not just on their immediate military impact, but on their historical consequences, on the legacy of courage and defiance that Britain would leave for centuries to come. I built not just a strategy for war, but a vision for humanity. I knew that my actions and the actions of the nation would echo through time. Your impact resonates beyond your lifetime. You must widen your gaze. Stop living solely for yourself and for the immediate present. Start living for something greater than yourself, for the future, and for those who will come after you. Your life is not merely a journey. It is a profound opportunity to leave a mark, to build something lasting, to contribute to the grand tapestry of human endeavor. Mental framework, the generational lens. Before making a significant decision, ask yourself, How will this choice impact my life 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now? How will it affect my children, my community, my industry, long after I am gone? This forces you to think beyond instant gratification and toward enduring value. Actionable insight 1. Identify your enduring values. What principles, what truths, what contributions do you want to be remembered for? Write them down. Let these values be the compass for every decision, every action, every sacrifice. Are you living in alignment with the legacy you wish to leave? Actionable insight 20. Invest in foundations, not just facades. Prioritize building robust systems, deep relationships, profound knowledge, and sustainable health over superficial appearances or fleeting successes. This means spending time on the unglamorous, foundational work that truly lasts. For instance, rather than buying a new car, invest in that course that will elevate your skills for decades. Instead of a superficial acquaintance, invest deeply in 1 or 2 true friendships. Daily practice that. Legacy review. At the end of each day or week, review your actions. Ask, did I move closer to the legacy I wish to leave, or did I simply drift? Be honest. Adjust your course. This creates accountability for your long-term purpose. If you fail to consider your legacy, you will live a life of fleeting pleasures and profound regret. You will be a mere consumer of time, rather than a creator of enduring value. When your worst day comes, you will not only be unprepared to face it, but you will find yourself empty, without a deeper purpose to sustain you through the storm. Your life will have been a whisper, quickly forgotten. But if you embrace the concept of legacy, if you build with intention, if you live with purpose beyond yourself, then your worst day will become a crucible, refining the very essence of your lasting contribution. You will meet it with the strength of generations behind you and the weight of a future to protect. You will not merely survive, you will prevail, and your life will become a testament to courage, resilience, and the power of an unwavering spirit. This is your ultimate challenge and your greatest reward. Your legacy is built in the shadows, tested in the fire. Live a life worth remembering, not just recording. The future belongs to those who build it, not merely inhabit it.